Alright, here's the first sanding of the TR6. Um, Painted it months ago, but winter has arrived and I had the Cobra in and out, sanded, polished, and delivered. So the Cobra got done and then it got cold. And of course, I pre assemble all of the fenders and all the doors. The car gets jammed, completely separate, completely broken down, body shell, fenders, doors, inside and out. So it's actually covered better than the factory. The factory only painted the outside with a couple of primers on the inside. Of course, the undercoating, and I don't undercoat these. Um, they can always add it later if they need to, but most of the people don't drive them enough to really care, and they're not in the north. So it's pre-assembled, including the painted strips in the early sixes. These strips. Um, Hopefully these won't chip because the chrome usually sometimes they just peel off and come off. Hopefully these work out pretty good. Door gaps are pretty good. This side's a little off, but I'll adjust that a bit later. But this has been completely marked up in Sharpie. So you Sharpie the whole car. This is my method. Sharpie the whole car, black, green, whatever color. Can't do it on a black car, but anything colored. You just get a Sharpie and you go at it. Obviously, little specks. Here's a little dust speck. Nibs. People call them nibs. So Sharpie the nibs. Cover the whole thing in a Sharpie. And then when you go wet sanding, when it's wet, it's always glossy after being wet. So you can't see the high and low spots. You can't see the orange peel when it's wet. But if you just go at it and sand all the black Sharpie, it turned out pretty good. So I get 95% of it flat. You have to be careful with the edges. Otherwise, you don't want to burn through the edges with your orbital. But this is just the first pass of taking the Sharpie off. It's 99, 95% done. The middle's a little bit tin can, so I'll hit that with a new pad so I don't have to push so hard. But yeah, add a little soap to the water. I might have added a little bit too much in this bucket. But it takes off the dust after the sanding, and after it all dries, you can wash the dust off the car. Again, this is what I do. So 1500, 3M 1500, and then I go at it with a 3000, which 1500 flattens it. 1500 flattens it, takes the orange peel out, and then the 3000 just basically polishes the 1500. And then 3M polish. Compound, polish, and then glaze. Whatever they call them. There's so many numbers for polish. And I like 3M. I stick to 3M everything. I trust it. But yeah, so as you can see, the top of this fender is dry and flat, not glossy and flat. Got to go back and hand sand these edges. Sometimes I usually tape these off with masking tape. That's what I do sometimes, just so I know I can't roll the edges over with the orbital. You can get a soft pad to add to the orbital, but I've gotten pretty good at it. And as long as you're not burning through more than the Sharpie, if you're sanding the Sharpie off, you only taking tiny amount. You just don't want to roll your orbital around the edges. So I got to go back and sand all of these edges, including the fender here, by hand with 1500. And then after it's all sanded with 3000 polish, and then go back with 3-step polish. Obviously it flings everywhere, so I got to cover stuff up. But hopefully in the next few days I'll have this thing polished and I can start putting the carpet back in with the leather seats. And then I got to restore the original steering wheel too. Obviously give it a good wash. But this is my method of polishing. It's just nicer in the summer and the spring. I just hate doing this when it's 16 degrees like it was 2 weeks ago. So now that it's warmer, Gotta get this car knocked out and out of here. Get on the next projects. I got two TR250s to do after this.